Hello class, this tutorial is called APA Decoded. Everything you always wanted to know about APA but were afraid to ask. It's loosely based on a very old tutorial from the APA 6th edition. Mine is based on the 7th edition, but the old one is called APA Exposed and came from Harvard Education School back in the old days. And I was inspired to remake that because that one is no longer available anymore, and I found that old one incredibly helpful when I was a grad student, so I modeled this after that. And this is just to kind of take you through the nitty-gritty of everything you need to know if you're writing a paper using APA. So basically we're going to have 4 parts. Part 1, APA formatting basics, when you're formatting your paper. But I typically give my classes a paper template to get them started. But just in case you're using APA for a class and they don't give you a paper template, these are the APA formatting things that you need to know. Part 2, citing your sources. Part 3, in-text citations. And Part 4, having your resource list at the end. So at the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to recall the reasons for using APA format, list basic APA formatting requirements, explain the fundamental author date method, which APA relies on, and identify requirements for citing references using the APA format. So that's our goals with this down and dirty APA decoding tutorial. So all of this is based on the 7th edition APA publication manual. If you don't have a copy as a grad student, that's blasphemy. You should go out, you should buy a copy, you should have a copy in your desk. I have the really cool one that's spiral bound because, I don't know, it looks cool. It's easier to flip through. You can flip it inside and out. It's easier to put it's got little tabs on it for all the little sections because I'm a nerd and I really like the tabs and they're all color coded. Again, I'm a nerd. So if I need to flip through to the reference examples or the, mechanics of APA style, I can quickly flip through to it. Am I selling it? Yes. I'm just kidding. So if you haven't yet purchased a copy of that 7th edition APA publication manual, you can click on that link there and find it, or you can go to Amazon and get it. You can get it wherever. But I highly recommend having a copy because even though this tutorial will cover the ins and outs of the basics, it's really helpful to have the manual when you're writing many, many papers in grad school because there's millions of examples in the manual and you can always double, triple check that you're actually doing it correctly. And it doesn't really cost that much. Okay, so why do we bother? What's the whole point of using APA format? Well, first of all, when you write a paper, it really looks cool. It looks professional. It looks really nice and tidy to have your in-text citations next to your sentences and your nice, tidy reference list at the end of your paper, and to have your paper properly formatted using APA format. So yes, it looks cool. But it also communicates very important information. It gives information to the person reading your paper. Is this information coming from a journal? Is it coming from a book? Is it coming from a magazine? Is it coming from a documentary? Where is the information coming from? And is this information your own information, or is a lot of this information coming from other sources, other people's content, ideas, and creativity? And that's very, very, very important. It helps you as the author give credit where credit is due and avoid inadvertent plagiarism. And as professionals, as we're honing our academic voice and our scholar practitioner voice, we have to make certain that we give credit where credit is due and we don't take credit for somebody else's work. That's very, very, very important. If you're writing a sentence and you're talking about an idea, and that's an idea that you didn't come up with on your own, and for most of your papers, those ideas you did not come up with on your own. Those are ideas that you're weaving together from other people. You want to make sure that you don't take credit for somebody else's ideas. So most of those sentences a lot of those sentences in your paper are other people's ideas that you're putting together. So we have to make sure we're avoiding plagiarism. So plagiarism, just a reminder, is the act of presenting words, ideas, or images of another as your own. And if you do plagiarize, it denies authors or creators of content the credit that they are due. So we use APA format to avoid that. So some of the ways that we can avoid plagiarism is we can paraphrase somebody else's concepts and use an in-text citation to show that, hey, so-and-so said this, this, and this, and this, and I'm paraphrasing what they said, but I'm going to then slap in an in-text citation and give credit to that person. We can also directly quote them and say, quote, John said, quote, blah, 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 and then end that quote. So we can paraphrase, we can directly quote. We can also give credit using like a referring to data or a data set from somebody. We can reprint figures or images from people. We can even reprint text passages like from a book or something. But we always have to make sure we give credit where credit is due. That's very important.